Welcome to the Excel-based net present value and internal rate of return assignment for Finance 3770. This is Professor Waz, and I hope at this point you've opened the assignment that has been downloaded from eCampus. I'm assuming that you've done so and you are looking at the example tab right over here, down here. If we look at the project here, we see NPV, IRR, and MIRR. MIRR stands for Modified Internal Rate of Return, which in this course we don't spend much time on. But since it is here, I just want you to know the very basic difference between IRR and MIRR. One of the problems with IRR is that the assumption is every cash flow that the company gets through the life of the project is immediately reinvested at the same rate of return as the project. As a practical matter, most of the time the rate that's received on those proceeds is that of the money market rate and somewhere perhaps up to the company's weighted average cost of capital, which can tend to be much lower than that of the IRR. So MIRR is used to compensate for the reinvestment risk. Again, for our course, I'm most concerned that you can use the NPV and IRR functions correctly in Excel. Looking at this project A here, I've given you an example of some projected inflows or revenues and projected expenses or outflows, and this is assuming cash basis accounting. We can see here that in the first year of our project, or before it's implemented actually, at time equals 0, there is no revenue, no inflow. The flow is only out. That's the capital expenditures, or CapEx, in order to have the project implemented. We see a negative 90 here. For year 1, 2, and 3, you will want to go and complete the Excel cells in a manner that allow you to correctly derive the net cash flows as shown. It is these numbers, along with the given discount rate or NPV discount rate that you are given, that you use in calculating IRR and NPV as shown here. For this course, if you wish to do MIRR, you can, and perhaps I might award extra credit. The most important measures here are IRR and NPV. Now, there is a reason why I show IRR first and NPV second. The IRR function in Excel actually works correctly. The NPV function in Excel does not work correctly. Many years ago in the design of the software, evidently they didn't consult closely enough with finance people, and the function was coded incorrectly. Microsoft management had decided to keep that incorrectly coded, being that most people that are using this function know the workaround in which to make it correct. This is something that I want to demonstrate to you. If you do not use the function correctly, it changes the decision at some points where project NPV is relatively low and positive. It changes your decision or recommendation to management as to whether the project is to be accepted or declined. It can give you a false accept if you do not use the spreadsheet correctly. Let's examine Project A and work through it together. I'm going to click on the Project A tab down here on the bottom. Okay. Project A does have some explanatory boxes here. If you wish to read through them, you're welcome to do so. Here, we need to compute our net cash flows. In reality, you as a marketing manager or product manager or perhaps economist are going to have some kinds of models built in advance as to how much money it takes to put your project together, how much you expect to earn in your first year, how much it's going to cost you, and what is the net cash flow. These are absolutely required. In real life, though, you may actually put together a forecast for what I call middle of the road, and then a worst case and best case scenario. And that gives you an idea as to how sensitive your project is to your assumptions and your cash flows. We will not do a middle of the road, best case, worst case kind of model in this classroom assignment, though. Okay, IRR. Let's do this one. It's the easiest one and it works correctly. Notice up here in the formula button or formula area, I'm going to type the equal sign. And surprisingly, all I do is type IRR. Okay, we do bracket. And at this point, Excel is asking us what is the area that has our cash flows in it. Our cash flows are actually going to be here, aren't there? Aren't they? Okay. So, C6 through F6. Okay. We're getting an error message, of course, because there are no cash flows yet. Let's make them work correctly here. Okay, so we have revenue minus expenses. That's our basic, or cash in minus cash out. That's our basic equation here. Okay, so negative $125,000 here. I would go and simply pull the formulas over, go over here and say fill without formatting so as to not change any of the formatting on the table. And we've noticed that we've computed an internal rate of return. Imagine that. Let's quickly take a look here. If our project's rate that we're going to use in the NPV that we've not done yet is 21%, and our IRR is 19%, most likely our business decision is to reject the project because it does not exceed the 21% hurdle. One of the problems with IRR, if there are abnormal cash flows, which there are not in this scenario, there can be more than one answer. The computer gives you the first one and doesn't look to see if there are more. It could be that the additional answers are the correct one. So using IRR alone when you have abnormal cash flows is a recipe for giving the incorrect management recommendation on a project. So we always want to look at net present value. Let's try that now. We might assume to start out like equals NPV. And that certainly makes good sense here. Excel completes that for us. Okay. The first thing it's asking us for is the interest rate or our discount rate. Let's go and point directly to the cell instead. It's that 21%, but I'm going to point Excel to that particular cell, which in this case is G9. We're going to put a comma, and then we're going to put cash flows in. I'm going to show you the way not to do it first. If we do it the same way as the IRR, which seems the most logical and sensible thing to do, we can do it, and we will get an answer. Okay. The answer here is actually not the correct one. I'm going to expand the decimal positions here, and it comes out to negative 3.65 or negative $3,650 if this is thousands of dollars, which it is in this example. That is not the correct answer. If you compute this using the cash flow registers in your calculator, you will get a different answer. You'll actually get the correct answer. What you have to do is this. Let's go back and start it over from scratch just for the benefit of allowing you to see what I'm doing. NPV, once again, we're going to go and point to the discount rate that we're going to use, put a comma in. At this point, you need to know that you only go to use or select the cash flows from year 1 forward. We ignore the initial cash flow, time equals 0 cash flow. Let's go do that, close it off. Okay. Now we've got part of the answer. Okay. At this point, we have to manually remove the effects of the initial cash flow. So in this case, we have to subtract the 125,000 from this answer here. The easiest way to do this, since the 125,000 is already in negative format, is to actually add it. Because when we add a negative number, it's the same as subtraction. Okay. If you remember the in-class example of calculating present value and netting out the terminal cash flow, actually the initial cash flow, or initial outlay. So we take NPV, and then we had subtracted the initial outflow, we had gotten NPV. So the function in Excel actually calculates PV, not NPV, even though it's called NPV. We have to go ahead again and add such that we subtract the initial cash flow. Look at this carefully. If you have any doubt, duplicate the calculation in your calculator. Okay. Actually, the project's NPV is negative 442. Or if you use your calculator, it'll be negative 4.415. Again, this is how you do that. If you wish to use the MIRR function, feel free to do so. It's not required. Importantly, please be sure to tell me about the investment decision based upon the numbers. One of the most valuable things for you to be able to do is to communicate your findings. Not only do the numbers correctly, which is much easier for many students, but also to communicate it well, which is actually more difficult. So what I'd like for you to do is use the blue box here to tell me about your project investment decision, basically summing it up. A clear recommendation is whether the project should be accepted or rejected and the reason why. These would be things that you would include in PowerPoint bullets if you're doing an executive presentation. Project B, you need to repeat what you've been shown on the previous page or tab for Project A, and Project C, and each of these have different numbers, and you are expected, Projects B and C, in order to get full credit, to go ahead and also tell me about your decision. Okay. And finally, on the very last page or tab is a comparison. Please do put your name in your spreadsheet, and please examine the NPVs and summarize which projects should be accepted and rejected. Number 2, if for example there are 2 NPV positive projects, find the one with the higher rate of return, the IRR, and tell me which one it is. Okay. If there's anything that you can think of about improving the assignment or making it more fun, please tell me about it here, and you may get an extra credit point. Thank you.